Hey guys, good morning. It is February 12th. It is about 10 in the morning, my time over here. I just wanted to jump on and talk to you guys. I have a few things that are on my mind. I feel like I look like crap. I need such a haircut so bad. But I'm waiting until I'm getting ready to go to Nashville, which is super exciting. That's coming up at the end of the month. So I'll probably go sometime during the week to get it done and colored. I'll be back into my deep red, which I'm super excited about. But anyway, that's not what I got on here to talk to you guys about. I've talked a little bit about my family and my upbringing and things like that. And there's a couple more things that I would really like to touch on. But they're pretty personal and it kind of exposes myself a little. But I am entering a new season in my life, and I am going to be honest with you guys as well as myself and a lot of other things that are going on in my life. And so today I'm getting on here because I've been giving some thought to some things as I've been taking some online classes that kind of bring clarity to yourself and understanding. And it teaches you how to guide yourself as well as others when you're not sure exactly where you're going. First, you have to face your past in order to get to your future, because your past will constantly come up, and it will constantly be a whisper in your head if you don't face the things that have happened. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about myself and some things that I personally have done or have gone through or have pretended didn't really exist, but they really did. So I'm going to start with as far back as I can remember, which is about 7. And I'm not going to talk about anybody else today or what caused me to do what I'm going to talk about, because this is strictly about reflecting on myself. So I wanted to talk about, I remember being about 7 years old and feeling like my little young life didn't have much meaning, or that I went unnoticed a lot and I wasn't sure how to deal with it. And I've come to realize that at that early age, that I developed an eating disorder. And not like people would think. At 7 years old, I didn't know that that's what it was. At 7 years old, I just knew that I didn't have any control of anything of my existence in this world. What I could control is what I liked and didn't like. And I didn't like food. I didn't like almost any kind of food. And I remember being really, really young and sitting at the dinner table and not wanting to eat what was on my plate. And because we didn't have much, we were forced to eat everything that was on our plate. And I remember sometimes sleeping at the dinner table because I didn't want to eat what was on my plate. I remember begging my sisters and my brother to eat my dinner. I remember sneaking it and dropping it on the floor so the dog could eat it. And this is the part that makes me really realize that I had an eating disorder. And this is very hard for me to talk about. I remember putting food in my mouth. And everybody would call me squirrel because I was able to fit my whole plate in my mouth. And I would lie and say I had to use the bathroom. And I would spit it out. And I would come back to the table and only have 1 or 2 bites left on my plate. And it was easy for me to do this. Excuse me. I didn't think this video was going to be like this. And that was the beginning for me. And I was only 7. At least that's what I remember. Um, Excuse me, sorry. And that went on up until just a few years ago, where the only thing I can control in my life was my food. I've been hospitalized because of it, and I have come to grips with that I did have a problem, even though I denied it. I denied it and denied it and denied it. I never made myself throw up. I just didn't want to eat. So it got to the point that my body didn't know what to do with food, and it still doesn't sometimes. And this is, oh God, this video is difficult. You know, when you don't have much purpose in your life, or you feel like you go unrecognized even when you're doing the best you can do, or you're trying to be a positive person and people don't recognize you. And the one thing they always recognize about you is that you are thin. So then you get noticed a little bit and you realize, wow, some kind of compliment is better than no kind of compliment. And then later on you realize that it's really not a compliment, that you're really, really thin. And the problem for me is that I didn't really realize that I was that thin. And I was 90 something pounds. And I'm 5'7", that's pretty tall. And I seen a picture of myself, and I could see my rib cage, not on the bottom part, but in my chest. And I realized that I was too thin. And I snapped out of it, and I wasn't feeling well, and I kept vomiting. I was so sick and so dehydrated that I was rushed to the hospital, and I stayed there for about 10 days. And I came out even lighter than what I was, and I was about 89 pounds. And the doctors had told me that if I did not go to the hospital when I did, I probably would have had a heart attack, both from the lack of nutrition and from being extremely dehydrated. And it was a wake-up call for me that I didn't want to die. I had 3 kids, and I didn't want to die. And I kind of snapped out of it a little, and I tried to take better care of myself, and I ate a lot of healthier foods, and I tried to be, conscious of what I was eating to make sure that I was getting nutrition. But anybody who knows that means, or what that means, is that I was still monitoring what I was putting in my body. I was still controlling what I was giving myself to eat. I was still suffering from this eating disorder. And, it was extremely difficult. And I taught myself that this is not the life that I wanted to live, and that I wanted to have something better, and that I had kids, and I didn't want to have a heart attack, and I didn't want to not be well. And I was so hard on myself that I wasn't going to let myself give into this. It's part of why I really don't drink too much, because I know I have an addictive personality. And when I stopped with my eating disorder, I did pick up drinking a little bit. And I knew I had a problem when I found myself trying to hide that I was drinking. And I stopped, and I didn't drink literally for years. And when I say years, about 15 plus years. And now occasionally I might have a glass of wine here and there, and I usually don't even finish that. I mean, I don't feel like I have a desire to drink. But that's not what the story is really about. I don't miss it. I don't find fun in it. It's really not fun. So I just don't. But this is more about my eating disorder. So, I remember going to Walgreens and trying all the different diet pills and, things like that. And then it got to the point where I was like, what am I doing? And I just stopped. I didn't seek help, which I should have, because it's something that constantly comes back. At the time I didn't. I have gone to therapy since, and I have tried to get myself together. I mean, everybody has moments where you slip a little bit and you realize it and you catch yourself, and then you're like, well, wait a minute, what am I doing? But this was something that was really difficult for me. So I stopped going down the diet aisles in the stores. I would stay completely away from them. I ate what I wanted to eat when I wanted to eat. But I never really, I started to really never deprive myself of anything until I had a hysterectomy. And once again, I had no control over what was going on with my body. And I gained a lot of weight. And I literally went from about 115 pounds, which is what I am right now, to 187 pounds. And a lot of people don't believe that. And I could put pictures in this video if you'd like it. Maybe I will, just so that you can see. They'll probably be at the end, that I was much, much, much heavier. And I had no control, and I was scared. And it wasn't about the food. It was about my life. At that time, I had cervical cancer for the third time. I had my cervix completely removed. I had my uterus completely removed. My hormone level was so high that if they would have took my fallopian tubes and ovaries, that they said they would have a very difficult time with maintaining my hormones. So I still have those. At least probably until this summer, because they still create a lot of problems for me. But anyway, when I started to gain this weight, I was really trying to lose it properly. But it wasn't happening. And I don't know what happened. And about 2.5 years after my surgery, my weight started to come off. In 2013, my son was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. And that was 2 weeks after my mom passed away. And I was helpless. I was alone. And I was scared. And again, the only thing I had control of was what I was going to eat. And I relapsed a little bit. And I lost a lot of weight. And again, I was down to about 97 pounds. And this isn't really a sad video, because the outcome is so much better. After all of this has happened, my son is in remission, although he's still sick. He still has some heart failure. He still has a seizure disorder. And sometimes I still feel helpless. But the difference is, I'm not alone. I have somebody who supports me. I have somebody who loves me. I have somebody who will do anything for me. And actually, I have two people. My son is my rock. And I have two other children that I love very, very much. And I know that sometimes they don't think I do. But when you are holding your child as they very well could die, there is a bond that nobody will ever be able to break. My son helped me because he needed me. And it helped me focus on somebody other than being alone. And he needed me to be strong. And I was. And then I met somebody, and he loves me, whether I'm thin or fat, tall, short, makeup, no makeup. I'm 44 years old. I'm getting older, and I finally found peace in my life. I faced my past. I've acknowledged the things that were done to me, even though some don't, and they say I'm lying, and they say that I live a fake life. I live a very real life. The difference is the people who have hurt me the most have been completely cut out of my life, whether we are related or not. And my healing has begun. So now here I sit before you, and I will never say that it has gone away. And I will never say that it will never come back. Because having an eating disorder is very much like any other addiction. And it can come back. And you have to be strong, and you still have to fight every day. And I still stay away from diet items, and I still stay away from anything that is related to weight loss. And I eat when I want to eat. If I'm hungry, I'm hungry. I eat cake, I eat cookies, I eat dinner, I eat breakfast, I eat whatever the hell I want to eat. I'm very active, so I'm naturally thin. I was an athlete all my life, so I'm naturally thin. But I finally feel like there's some sense of control in my life and some sense of support. And people don't understand that that is all people with an eating disorder need. Yes, we need help. I take that back. We need help. We need to realize what we're doing to ourselves. We need to realize the damage we're doing to ourselves. And it never can be coming from somebody else telling us, because that just makes it worse. It has to be our own realization. It has to be our own wanting to do this. And that is what I wanted. I wanted to do this. And I think a lot of it has been a healing process, because I've faced everything. Good, bad, ugly. I faced everything. I faced so much that people don't even realize. And I get up every day and I'm proud of where I've come. I know many people who've been through some of the things I have been through, and they haven't overcame. And so I'm grateful for the life that I have right now. I'm grateful for the people who are in my life, and they're very limited. And even though my daughter and myself are not talking right now, I love her immensely. She saved my life and she doesn't even know it. And my sons I talk to on a regular basis, and they know. So this video was strictly here to reveal my personal self. And that is not something I do very often. I have some great things ahead of me. I have some great things coming ahead of me. I'm going to be speaking at a women's conference, and I will be touching on this. I'm going to be mentoring some youth at our school who have the same background as I do, and help them realize that things can be better, and the only one who can make them better is themselves. There's just a lot of great things coming my way. I'm in a good place in my life. And even though I cried in this video, it's because it's so real and it's so raw still. But I focus on my positive things and I keep moving. And that's all you can do. That's all you can ask for. So with this being said, I hope you guys all have a good and blessed day, and be grateful for the people who are in your life, and make sure you show them that you love them. Sorry. My belly's growling right now. I'm hungry right now. I'm getting ready to have some breakfast. The coffee's just not enough today. So, but anyway, I hope you guys have a great day. The sun is shining. Be grateful for that, and hug somebody and tell them you love them, because everybody needs to hear it, whether you think they do or not. And the people you think who have it together the most, you never know what's going on behind closed doors. So make sure they know that you care about them and that you love them. Right now I want to tell my children I love them. I love you, Georgine. I love you, George. And I love you, Jimmy. And thank you, because you guys saved me. I love you. And I will talk to you guys later.